Hello friendos and randos, welcome back to another video. Today I am super excited to bring you an EB01 deck that has gotten quite a bit of support kind of out of nowhere that I'm really excited to try. It is Iceberg San. Hello. Iceberg's leader effect is this leader cannot attack. He's a 5 life 5k power leader, and his effect is activate main Dawn -1. You may rest this leader, and then after that you may play cost 5 or lower Gala company type character card from your hand. So it has quite a bit of tempo because you're able to play a 5 cost character down on turn 1, and you also have quite a bit of support coming into EB01, such as the new Khalifa and the new Bluno card, which are all pretty good. And not only that, OPO5 and OPO6 have also kind of released a few pretty good like generic purple cards that we'll talk a little bit about. And I'm just pretty excited to get started. Let's get into it right away. Okay, so bread and butter of this deck is the Gala company or Water 7 type cards. So all of that comes with the Water 7 type searcher, Kokoro. Kokoro's effect is on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and pick a Water 7 type card and add it to your hand. So this is able to search any of your characters as well as even your Gala company stage, which is going to be very key as part of this deck's strategy. It is the Onigashima for Iceberg. He is the of course the dock, the shipwright's dock that they work at and that Iceberg is president of. It's activate main once per turn. Well, no, it's activate main. You may rest this stage, and then if your leader is Iceberg, then you can add 1 rested Dawn. So basically just allows you to ramp back a rested Dawn. So this is pretty useful, especially if you're using your leader effect to kind of play down another 5 cost unit. Then you get to play down a you Dawn -1, play down a unit, and then after that you get that Dawn back, so that you can continue playing things with a regular curve. Next up is Pauli. Pauli was of course actually created for Iceberg as one of his like top shipwrights, but I guess he kind of saw more play as a purple Luffy card in OPO5 at least. But Pauli's effect is on play, rest 2 Dawn, then ramp 1 active Dawn, and if you have a total of 8 Dawn or more, then you can KO one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower characters. So on Iceberg, you'll be able to cast this on 7, or when you are on 8 Dawn, you can use Dawn -1 and then call the Pauli down, and you only need to rest 2 active Dawn. So you could play a 5 cost, and then after that, Dawn -1, play down the Pauli, rest 2 of the Dawn, get 1 active, and then you can KO something with the Pauli. So that's pretty good as well. All in all, just one of the better 5 cost options that we have for Gala company. And next we also have 4 of the 5 cost Tilestone. Tilestone's effect is on KO, ramp 1 rested Dawn. So it's just a card that kind of de-incentivizes people trying to KO your units. So that's pretty good as well. Next is 3 of the Water 7 Rob Lucci. His effect is when attacking, Dawn -1, rest up to one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower characters. So it deals with Borsalinos and other pesky blockers like that as well. Pretty good all around. Next up we have the 2k counters. We have 4 of the 4 cost Khalifa. When attacking, Dawn -1, you may draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. So pretty good in terms of cycling, allowing you to get rid of some of the no counter cards if you draw excess like stages or Paulis, for example. So that's pretty good. For our next 2k counter, we have Frankie. Frankie's effect is when your opponent attacks once per turn, Dawn -1. If your leader has the Water 7 type, give up to one of your leader or characters plus 1k power for this turn. So as a 2k counter, it's a pretty odd effect. I guess it gives you the chance to Dawn -1 to get 1k counter every turn. So it's not the best effect, but like you would need to have it active for 3 turns in a row to make it more worth in terms of counter value than the 2k counter in hand. And other than that, I guess it's also that the main thing is that it is searchable through Kokoro. as a 2k counter card, so that's why we're including it still. And lastly, for I guess pseudo 2k counter, we have Gum Gum Jet Gatling. It's also a Water 7 card, Straw Hat Crew type as well. Discard one card to give yourself plus 3000 power. One of your leaders or characters, of course. So this card is, again, is a searchable 2k counter of sorts, and it will help you clear your stages or galelas if you have, or your paulis if you have excess of them. Otherwise, it's one of the last searchable 2k equivalents, so that's why we're also running it. So this is the current like Galela core of the deck that you've kind of seen maybe in OPO 3 as well when the deck first came out. But next we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new support that's come out for purple in general that that I think may be pretty good to put in the deck. So first off is the OPO 5 5-cost blocker kit. So blocker kit's effect is during your own turn once per turn, if Dawn were to be returned to your Dawn deck, then you can ramp one active Dawn. So this is really pretty good when combined with the fact that Iceberg's leader effect is also activate main. So you can use this in conjunction with the Iceberg leader effect to get one active Dawn and then use it on one of your attackers so that you have that additional power. So it will probably look something like on 1 you play Kokoro, on 3 you play the stage and then you play one of your characters, and then on your 5 Dawn turn you can play Kit and then you can play another character and get one active Dawn, and your first character can attack for an additional Dawn as well. So that's all pretty good. And then the next piece of support we have from OPO 6 is 4-cost Reiju. Reiju's effect is if you have less Dawn than your opponent, then you have 5 cards or less in your hand, then you can draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards is of course really good. Just wanting to refill our hands, make sure we have enough to protect our board. Especially as a leader that can't attack on its own, being able to like protect our units is really important too. And then lastly, maybe a interesting choice that I'm using as well is going to be the 10-cost SEC Luffy from OP05. SEC Luffy's effect is Dawn -10, return all of your other units to the bottom of your deck, and then after that, once your turn ends, you take another turn. So this card doesn't really see play outside of Purple Luffy, because I guess purple decks haven't really been popular other than Purple Luffy since the card came out. But I think it has quite a lot of potential with Iceberg, particularly because of the Galela stage. So what you would do with the Gear 5 Luffy is that on 10 you would play Luffy down, and then after that you would activate your stage, giving yourself one rested Dawn, which you would then use to activate Iceberg's leader ability, and then play down a 5-cost unit. Then once you pass turn and it goes back to your turn, you will have 2 active Dawn. You can ramp one with Luffy, you can ramp another one with the Galela company stage, and then after that you can have not only the Gear 5 Luffy as a rush unit, but also your new 5-cost unit that you played down on the previous turn. And then you can still use your leader ability again to play down another 5-cost unit. So this gives you a board of 10-cost Luffy and 2 5-cost units when you return the turn back to your opponent. And even for a deck like Sakazuki or Moria, that's a pretty high bar for them to clear. You will need something like double Ice Age and Helmeppo in your trash in order to clear everything with a Lucci. And even then you would still have 1 unit left on the board to clear. So that's really powerful. Alright, next we're going to talk about some of the new support in EB01 which I will be including. There's a total of 11 cards that we're including, and right now I'm using proxies, but I will be editing the new card on top of it so that you can see clearly. One of the first cards that I think was really powerful when I first saw it released was the new 4-cost Bruno character. Well, I don't have the new cards yet, of course, but this is just Bruno. We're going to use this as a proxy for it. So effect is on the screen. On play, Dawn -1. If your leader has the Water 7 type, then you can play a 5-cost or lower Water 7 type character card from your hand or trash other than Bruno. So that is really powerful. On your 4 Dawn turn, if you play Dawn -1, you can play down a 5-cost unit from your trash, and then you can also use your leader effect to play down another 5-cost unit. So that would pass you the turn with 4, 5, and 5, which is really powerful. Unfortunately, of course, the Bruno is not Galela company type. he is just a bartender. I mean, that's his undercover role at least. But being not part of Gala company, he won't be playable off of the Iceberg leader effect, which is, I think, fair. It is pretty powerful. If you could play him off of your leader effect, you could probably end the turn with 4 units on your like 5 dawn turn. If you were to play Bruno and then use your, sorry, not for your, on your 4 dawn turn, you could end the turn with 4-5-4-5 on the board, which is crazy strong. So I'm kind of I don't think it would have been like making Iceberg broken if it were Gala company, but it's nice that they thought ahead, I guess. And other than that, the next card is the new 5 cost Khalifa card for EB01 as well. Again, a proxy, as I don't have the EB01 cards ready yet. But on the screen again, Dawn -1 on play. If your leader has the Water 7 type, grab 2 cost 4 or lower character cards from your trash and add it to your hand. So you're able to grab most of the 2k counters in the deck, except for, of course, Ganga Jet Gatling. You're also able to grab Kokoro, you're also able to grab the new Bruno, and the old Khalifa cards. Of course, all of these make it very good, because you can basically draw 2 by playing down this unit. And draw 2 is so huge, like really powerful in terms of hand advantage. So you can kind of see the concept of the deck here now, where we have the Bruno to help you flood board, you have Reiju and Khalifa to help you with increasing your hand size, and you also have Ramp in the kit, as well as the Gala company cards to help you with making sure that you can make your curve very smooth. The last few cards that we will be including are firstly 2 copies of the new SEC Bond Clay card. Bond Clay's effect is on play, you may add 1 active Dawn from your Dawn deck. Then, when attacking, choose one of your opponent's characters and copy their original power until the end of this turn. Unfortunately, it is only for the current turn, so when you pass it back to your opponent, it will be back to a 1k unit. But the fact that it can ramp is really strong, and it can also clear basically anything in a 1-to-1 trade. For example, even if your opponent is running a 10 mum, you can swing the Bond Clay into the 10 mum for 12k with no Dawn attached, or you can even swing that into leader and use your opponent's kind of strengths against them. Last but not least, you know what it is. I really loved the Rush with Soap in my Sakazuki deck, and they released a purple version, Rush 4 cost 5k unit, which is the new Mino Chihuahua card, and that is going to be our one-off for this deck. It is going to be a Rush card that we will use to surprise our opponents and make them regret their choices in life. So this is the concept of the Iceberg deck that I've come up with so far. I will quickly show you guys the kind of suggested curve and what you can kind of expect when you're playing this deck really quickly. Of course, on your 1 dawn turn, you don't have that many options, so you're going to want to do your searcher. So if you have 2 copies, of course you play both copies. If not, then you just play the 1. And then I think it depends on what you do manage to find with the searcher. If you do manage to find stage in your starting hand already, then I think it's feasible to put down a 5 cost unit as well on that turn. The best option for a 5 cost unit on turn 1 is probably going to be Tailstone, because of the fact that he does have that on KO effect, which would allow you to ramp if your opponent does decide to hit you or not. Then on your 4 dawn turn, you would, if you do have your stage ready, I think you would play down the stage. If not, you could play down the Bond Clay in order to ramp 1 active. And then after that, you can use your leader effect again. Sorry, if you didn't use your leader effect on turn 1, now you could use your leader effect to play down a unit instead on your 4 dawn turn. Alternatively, if you don't have the Bond Clay in hand, you can also use the Bruno. I think is really powerful as well. If your opponent were to attack you on the 3 dawn turn for 5k, you could counter out with Tailstone or with the Lucci. And then you could use Luno's effect to bring either one of them back down on the 4 Dawn turn. So now on our following turn, we're either on 5 Dawn or 6 Dawn, depending on whether we went with the stage play or the Bruno play. If we're on 5 Dawn, we could just again play down another 5 cost unit, and then after that use our leader effect. The ideal 5 cost unit to play, of course, I think is the 5 cost kit, because this means that we can again get 1 Dawn active back and then also play down another unit. If we have our stage, we can even use this as ramp to bring us back to 6 Dawn instead of 5 Dawn. Otherwise, I think the other great options are Khalifa as well as Bruno again for even more board pressure. So if you were to do Bruno into Bruno, your board would look something like this on the 6 Dawn turn, which is pretty insane if you ask me. A board of maybe this 4 units like that is really, really powerful. I think it's hard for even Sakazuki to manage that, which is pretty funny to think about. Sakazuki struggling against Iceberg, the renowned best deck in format for two formats in a row. Okay, that being said, I think that's probably the next curve that we're going for. And then on your 8/7 Dawn turn, 7 Dawn turn is pretty interesting. You could probably use it to play down Pauli. If not, you could use it to play down again another kit or one of your other 5 cost units to get back hand cards, maybe like with the Khalifa. And then from there, once you've paid 5, you can do Dawn -1. You are left with 7 and 7 total Dawn and 2 active Dawn. Play down the Pauli using your leader effect, and then use that to ramp 1 active Dawn again, setting you up for your 10 Dawn turn. At which point, you can just continue to keep hitting your opponent using the Dawn, because again, your leader not being able to attack means that you're reliant on your board. But the other option is, of course, to just use the 10 drop Luffy. And then if your board is already empty, this lets you reset and basically gives you a 10 cost rush unit and resets all your Dawn back to 0. But you're also going to be able to tap your stage, play down another 5 cost unit alongside the Luffy. And then when you start your extra turn, you go back to 2 Dawn. And then with the Luffy effect, you add another Dawn. And with the Gala Company stage effect, you add another Dawn. So you, instead of resetting to 0, you're basically resetting to 4. And on this 2 Dawn, of course, you can use it to just swing with your 5 cost unit and then your Luffy, or you can use it to search, or you can even, if you decide to add counter events to this deck, you can leave Dawn up for counter. So all of these are really, really interesting options, and this is probably the line of play that you will kind of see. And then, of course, if you don't have any good options on the turn itself, you can always use the Khalifa to draw cards, or the Reiju to draw cards as well. So you have these 2 options for card draw to help you find the Gala Company pieces that you want. I note that we are running not as many Gala Company pieces. We only have, I think, 15 in the deck in total, with 4 Tailstone, 4 Pauli, 4 Khalifa, as well as 3 Lucci. 3 Lucci. But there are, of course, the alternative game plans, like using the Bruno or the 5 cost kit and the 10 cost Luffy, or using the Reiju to help us with card draw to reach those points as well. All of that said, I'm really excited to try Iceberg. I think he's going to be kind of fun. May not be top tier, but he does look like he has a lot of resource gain now, and I'm really excited to try it. Another option I think that could be added into this deck is the new Ragnarok event as well. For 5 Dawn, being able to KO an 8 cost unit is pretty good, especially in a deck that needs to be Dawn efficient like Iceberg. All of that said, this is what I've kind of cooked up for Iceberg so far. If you have any other ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll definitely try it out. I think I will be playing this deck for fun for quite a bit, because it does seem really funny to play, and then just spamming the board with a bunch of 5 cost seems kind of fun too. And I like the ability to just draw a lot of cards. I think because Reiju exists now, there's no need to play Queen in this deck, and then not like go even more heavily on the Dawn minus and just be able to draw more cards with Khalifa or with the Radio effect as well. So all of that seems pretty good. In terms of the Gala company units, I think if you wanted to, you could probably go a little bit more heavy onto it, play less of the 5-cost kid or the Regius, and then play maybe Kaku or even Peeply Lulu to just have more targets for your leader effect. But I think I will definitely be trying this out, and I'll let you know if it works or not for me, and maybe I'll even upload some gameplay of it. All that aside, thank you friendos and randos for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like as well as subscribe to the channel. It'll really mean a lot. I want to thank all my members as always for supporting me over the past couple of months, and of course, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.